Hello, welcome to another video lesson for the Hippocratic Diaries. I'm Grant Werstick, and this month we're going to be talking about bridging. I've alluded to bridging before in previous videos, especially for the ones about opening up your lower back and your hips, but I felt like it's worthwhile to highlight it in this month's issue just because it is so beneficial for you in so many ways. You'll see in the offline newsletter the article I wrote about it. But bridging is just fantastic, again, for your spine and your back health, for opening things up. You're going to feel a lot more energetic, you're going to have a lot more focus, you're going to feel a lot more flexible. It's going to really help prevent injuries in your back, and also probably improve your body's efficiency for movement in a lot of other ways too. So this is a very phenomenal movement for your overall health and your energy. Like all exercises, it has its pros and its cons, and you know, it can be a little bit risky, or it can present some challenges for some people. But the key is to find a version of the bridge that you can do easily, and then as you get more comfortable with that, build up into harder and harder versions of it, so you can get the full benefit of the exercise. So one of the biggest limiting factors people will find with a bridge is not so much their back flexibility, but a lot of times their hips and their abdominals will be so tight that they'll have troubles getting into that. So very important, if you haven't done bridging at all, or if you haven't done it in the recent past, then you want to do a lot of stretching for your hips, for your abdominals, to loosen those up first, and then that will give you the added flexibility you need to do some bridging. So I cover a lot of that stuff in previous videos. You can go back and search through my catalog there and find some of those stretches to open up your hips. But we're just going to get right into bridging today and go from there. So one of the nice things about bridging too is that it's a full body exercise. You will feel this in every muscle in your body. So you know, if you just need a quick total body stretch, or even a nice static isometric exercise that you can do to kind of tone up your muscles quickly, this is a great one for that. So we're going to go to the easiest version of the bridge first, which is just a hip bridge on the ground, and I'll just show you some different variations of that. So wherever you are, just going to lie down on the ground, and you want to get your butt fairly close to your heels. Okay, from here you're just going to push your hips up as high as you can in the air, and you want all the weight to be on your shoulders, okay? And we never want to go so high or push so far back that the weight's on our neck. That's going to create some injury and some problems later on. So again, keeping all the weight on your shoulders, pushing your hips up as high as you can. And to help do this, we're really digging our heels into the ground. Okay, so drive the heels into the floor and really contract those glute muscles. Alright, and from this position you can hold this for time, or you can do repetitions up and down, like that. Okay, if you want to make it harder, you can put your legs on a chair, and again, holding it up high. Or another way you can make it more challenging is to have one leg up in the air. Okay, and again, still pushing the hips up high and still holding for time. Alright, so you can just play with that. And one way we can make it a little bit harder too is to go in tighter. So once you're in the bridging position, you can try grabbing your heels. And again, push your hips up high as you can. This is a much tighter position. Another thing you can do, clasp the hands together underneath your butt and squeeze your shoulders together. And this will really help open up your chest as well. And it's a really good stretch if you've been spending a lot of time at a desk all day. So those are just some variations from that position that you can play with. And again, that's the most basic form of bridging, and it'll give you a really nice good start. And for those who are really tight in the hips, you probably will feel that right off the get-go. So you can try that out. Next variation I like to do with people is bridging on a ball. And this will really help you to get an extra stretch in your upper back. Okay, that position, it's mostly lower back and hips. This will really work on our upper back, and it's also going to lead us into the full bridge nice and easy. The other thing this does is a really nice way to build comfort for bending over backwards or looking over backwards. Okay, one of the reasons why the bridge is so effective is because our society is so much about flexion. Okay, whenever you're sitting, you're in a flexed position. We're always bending forward or leaning forward. Okay, most of our exercises are flexion based. So this is a nice extension based exercise that really opens you up and counteracts all those flexion movements. So again, a lot of people feel very tight when they first try this, but just play with it for a little bit and you'll find that it'll come pretty easily. So grabbing your exercise ball, this one's a little bit too deflated, okay? You want it to be sitting a bit higher so that way your legs are at least parallel, if not hips slightly higher than your knees. But again, good start for this. So sitting on the ball, you're just going to walk yourself forward until the middle of your back is on the ball. And from here, you can just reach back behind with your hands till your hands are touching the ground. And again, a lot of people won't even be able to go this far, okay? So you just want to build them to the point where you can touch your hands to the ground, and you can roll back and forth just to get a stretch in slightly different parts of your back. And again, you're probably going to feel that pulling all the way down here, okay? So, a nice way to open yourself up. And if you can, see if you can get your palms on the floor. Alright, this will be a lot to do with your shoulder flexibility. But just again, rocking back and forth, this will get you really used to being in that inverted position and get you comfortable to being upside down. And again, just really opening up the back and whatnot. Alright, so after you become very comfortable with that position, we'll move on to the next variation for bridging, which is wall walking. For wall walking, you want to get yourself close to a nice open section of wall. Probably don't want any pictures or anything hanging on there. You're going to start with your back flat against the wall, and from there you're going to take 2 steps out from the wall, and that's usually a pretty good distance to begin this exercise. So 1 foot length ahead, 2 foot lengths ahead, and then just square off your feet. And from here, you're just going to lean back and place your hands on the wall. And for some people, that will be enough just to get over that fear of leaning back and touching the wall. And that's all their flexibility will allow. But over time, again, you want to progress to going further and further down the wall until you're basically just above the floor or touching the floor. So wall walking, again, very simply, leaning back, touch your hands to the wall, and come back up. Touch your hands to the wall, and come back up. And as your comfort level improves and as your flexibility improves, again, you want to work on climbing lower and lower down the wall. Big key for wall walking and the full bridge that we're going to demonstrate in a few minutes is to really relax your breathing, okay? If you're holding your breath or you're really tense, you're not going to be able to do this exercise no matter what. So you want to breathe, just breathe in such a way that you're keeping your body loose, and never hold your breath for this exercise. Okay, always stay breathing, even if it's shallow breaths, but just really focus on keeping yourself loose, because the more tense you get during this, the harder it's going to become. So walking, going down a bit further now. Okay, that's halfway. Let's keep going. Okay, 3/4 down, walking up. And last time, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom this time. Alright, so that's wall walking. And once we get really good at that, where you can get up and down pretty easily and you can get all the way to the bottom, then you're ready to try the next variation of bridging, which is essentially a full bridge. So, again, back in this position, we want to get our heels and our butt nice and tight so we have lots of room to move up and around. Okay, hands are going to be placed by your shoulders. Again, the tighter your starting point, the tighter your bridge will be. So when you're first starting out, your flexibility might not be good enough to get a really tight bridge, but as you get better, you always want to focus on getting those hips higher and getting your feet and your hands closer together. Alright? Hands together, and you're just going to push up from this position. Again, driving the heels into the ground and pushing through the floor until we're in the full bridge. And you can either hold this for time, you can practice taking one hand off, okay, or maybe you want to practice taking a leg off. And again, just holding for time. And whenever you're ready, you just come down, again, putting your shoulders down first, and then setting your hips down. So that's the full bridge. And again, even from that position, there's a lot of variations you can play with. And you can practice holding for time, you can practice moving limbs up and down. You can also do a reverse push-up, which I'll demonstrate quickly from that position. pushing up, come back down to the shoulders, again pushing up, down to the shoulders. Okay? You'll find that a lot more challenging than a normal push-up, just because of the way your body weight's distributed, and also flexibility becomes an issue there too. There is another form of bridging I really like, which I'm not going to demonstrate just because of the risk factors, which is the neck bridge, or the wrestler's bridge. So if you know somebody who can coach you through that, or you want coaching on that, I'd be willing to do that. But just for a general video, it's not worth showing. So again, play with all these variations of the bridge, and again, I think you'll find it will really help your energy levels, your focus, and it will really help make you injury proof for any activity you do. And for any of those that have a desk job, this will feel great to really open you up. So that's it for this month, and hope to see you again next month for the Hippocratic Diaries.